Hey guys, this is a garden tour for the end of June. We are now in summertime and the lavender is looking absolutely gorgeous. This is English lavender and it is loaded with bees all over this plant. They're really loving it. I have some coneflower that is budding up and going to be flowering very soon. I've got some coneflowers here as well that are budding up, and these are I believe, green twisters. I think, I'm not 100% sure, so we will see on this one, but they are a little shorter, so I'm assuming that's what they are. And the yarrow is all budding up again. My husband has been really good about coming out here and just giving it deer spray so much every day, every other day, and kind of taking care of that. So we'll see if they last. The purple Veronica just looking absolutely gorgeous, and I want more of that. This Agastache is a purple, a light purple, and I love this. This is the white Agastache, and that is looking beautiful and completely blooming. I'll show you on the other side of this bed as well. I also have a bee balm. So that is finally flowering. I did have to spray BT on it because budworms are attacking it. So that's looking quite beautiful. And this coneflower isn't even caged up, but I think it's been hidden enough between the alliums, the grass, bee balm, and the Agastache that it's just in disguise. So that's really awesome to see. Over here I have some more purple Agastache and some brown-eyed Susan, and those are starting to bud up. Those were constantly being eaten up, so finally going to get some blooms there. The rose campion is still looking beautiful, but I might chop it back in the next couple of days and just sort of chop it back in half. And back here is the St. John's wort, and we've only got a few blooms that are coming through, and that's because the deer ate the buds. So yeah, you can see there where they got nibbled. And this is, again, not a plant that they're supposed to eat, but they love flower buds. They're nice and tender, and they do like those. Here is the Rudbeckia cherry brandy. This is the largest this flower has ever been, and it's just looking magnificent. So lots and lots of buds on this plant, and it is also the tallest it's ever been. And the bees are going crazy in this flower bed. But back here, this Syringium, it is absolutely gorgeous. I love the coloring on this. And the bees really, really love this plant. They're just constantly on all of these, all over the garden. And the Agastache is another plant that they absolutely love. Here's a bee right there working on this plant. I had to hit a lot of this stuff with BT early this morning because, yeah, the budworms, all those little white butterflies are out right now. And here is the Gara, and that is looking beautiful and starting to flower. The Millennium Alliums, as you can probably see, is just loaded with buds, and that likely will flower around mid-summer. This coneflower here looks humongous, and I'm looking forward to seeing these coneflowers because I'm pretty sure a lot of them are the green twisters. So I'll wait and see. If you watched my last garden tour, I showed you a rabbit that was in this flower bed. And I saw it another day when I was deadheading, and the rabbit kept just this watchful eye on me and sort of started following me a little, and I suspected that there was something going on. And lo and behold, under this grass, right in this area, baby bunnies. So I'm gonna throw up a clip right now of, I think they were pretty much a few days old when I actually saw them. I think they are still there at this moment. I don't want to disturb it. And anyway, so I'm gonna leave them alone. You know, I do love bunnies, meaning I love seeing them in the yard. I guess my only wish is that, you know, if I could plant something and they would only stick to that, that would be great, but that's not the case. But I'm willing to coexist with the bunnies now that I have things sort of caged up and, you know, those are being left alone. I think we can live together. The Dara is completely budded up. This is in a little bit of risk of being eaten by the deer, but this is looking really cute and can't wait to see it. I am considering pulling out these bachelor buttons because they're pretty spent and might change them out with some zinnias. The flowers here of my cut flower garden, my winter sown garden, are just amazing. The first flower here is the feverfew, and I'll put up the name of what variety I have here, but they're starting to look absolutely gorgeous. I love this little white and yellow creamy colored flower. And the status, I have this peachy, kind of pink peachy color. Love this. And this purple, I cut this and let it dry, and this still looks this vibrant of a color. So I'm going to probably come back here and start cutting these back and taking these in to dry, because that is spectacular how beautifully they look and didn't even have any loss of color. The straw flower looks magnificent, and I think my favorite right now is this red one. So most of the ones here are more of this peach and orange color. There's a few silvery rose in here, but there are only about 3 that I guess made it through of this red one. So I'm planning on coming back and cutting this down so that it can branch out a little bit more, because I have that one, this one, and then one other little one down here. And I really wanted a lot more of those. The larkspur. This is my first year growing larkspur, and I really love this purple color. I think it's called blue, but to me it looks purple in real life. I'm looking at it in the camera lens, and it looks blue actually in the camera lens, which is crazy because I'm looking at it in person and it looks purple to me. And maybe it's some of them and the lighting. So if I move over this way, I feel like it looks blue, but this is absolutely gorgeous. Snapdragons are doing really nice. I want to come over here and cut these back just so that they can continue to bloom and branch out. And then over here is the Scabiosa, and they're really starting to put out a lot of buds, but this one is starting to look like what the flower is going to look like. And man, that black, deep, dark color is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And wish I had a few more of these. So next year, I think I'm going to do a few more of those. So I recently posted a video about this veggie garden that I created. So I'll leave a link so that you can take a look at that video if you'd like. And let me show you some of the flowers I'm growing here. Back here I have some dahlias, and that's more than, I just had a lot of extra tubers and nowhere to put them, so I decided to do them in grow bags this year. Unfortunately, this one, the baby bunny got in here and has pretty much decimated that one. Interesting that it hasn't decided to touch the other ones, but just this one. The baby bunny also got to this clematis here, so unfortunately I think might be done for the season, unfortunately. I've got some chamomile. This was also winter sown and then just sort of tossed in this bag as a couple of chunks in there. And the rabbits do like this, so that was another thing I think the rabbit was trying to come in to eat. And then this is my other clematis that is actually doing really, really well. As you can see, I put some chicken wire down at the bottom in case the rabbit still gets in here. And it's only the baby bunnies that can get in here. I do need to chicken wire the rest of this garden, the perimeter, so that I can keep them out. This flower bed here is looking more beautiful every day. I have added some calendula and dotted that in here, but the astilbe is starting to flower. And it just looks so pretty. It's got this really kind of fluffy texture, and I absolutely love it. And the one back here is a similar variety, but I think might be purple. I can't recall the color, or maybe they're all pink. But this one has just so many bud stalks on this one. And this one's got like 2 of them. Maybe this is the purple because I am seeing purple in here. No one of them was like a really pretty purple color. And then we've got this one here, which also is budding up. This is a very different variety. I don't have a tag for it, so I don't know. But it's very feathery. And I really like that one too. The hydrangeas are budding up and looking beautiful. Because of the transplant that I did and a little late in the spring, it may not put out as many buds as I have had in the past. But yeah, it's looking very pretty. And every day I do see more buds trying to show up. And I think by the end of the summer, it will be a relatively nice amount of flowers on the hydrangea. More snow-capped daisies in full bloom, looking beautiful. And the rose campion here is still just blooming its head off, but I do need to come and deadhead this. I don't want it to self-seed too much here. And back here is some purple agastache, and that is starting to bud up, and hopefully these will get a lot taller and bigger to really put some height over here. I've got some great blue lobelia here that has not flowered yet, but I think this is a late summer bloomer. The salvia I had deadheaded and it's starting to rebloom. And this hydrangea got eaten. The buds got eaten off. So it's behind from all the other ones on the property. This is the same one. This is that lace cap hydrangea. But I think it will still put out flowers. It's just going to take a little longer. This one over here did bud up and actually flowered. These were transplants and little cuttings from the mama plants. And yeah, they're really starting to put on growth and budding up. So this is a great blue lobelia as well. And this one actually has a nice bud on it. So we'll hopefully get to see that bloom unless something eats it. And last but not least is these hydrangeas that I put in these planters. Clearly there's an issue. I think this might be a chlorosis issue. And so I did put some iron tone today. So I hope that will help with that situation. But I added some pretty petunias at the bottom to just dress it up because I'm not really sure that these hydrangeas are going to flower this year. They got pretty nipped with some late spring frosts. And yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye. There's the mama rabbit right by her nest.